Hey everyone, my name is the Theme Park Evangelist. So I'm actually filming this, believe it or not, late Saturday night, November 23rd, and going into very, very, very early Sunday morning, November 24th. So the reason why I've chosen to do this is because, ironically, I'm going to be so busy today when this gets uploaded, which is Monday, November 25th, that I'm just not going to have time to sit down and get this filmed. You see, I'm actually going back to work while I'm filming this, that is, later on today, 1 to 7, but I'm trying to encourage my managers to let me stay until 9 for today for sure. And then tomorrow, Monday, I'm working 3 to 11. However, though, the free time that I do have, I'm going to be dedicating towards doing DoorDash and whatnot. And, I just don't really have the time, per se, to come back here and YouTube. And on top of that, I got to come back here and start getting ready for work. And I even, on top of that, I got to leave early enough that I can even drop by my place, pack a lunch, and then continue on from there to Williamstown. So, more or less, that's my biggest reason why I'm doing this now, despite how late it is. But it's all good. We're going to make this work. So, anyway, I wanted to take this opportunity, to go over with you guys the final topic of the history of the Theme Park Evangelist. This literally started Memorial Day weekend. Here it is, Thanksgiving week. I know, crazy, right? And, it's all boiled down to this. And, what started out as a really cool solo YouTube channel back in high school, and then went on from there to, being two close male friends, going around riding roller coasters, going to theme parks and whatnot. And now it's literally going to be soon a future husband and wife duo couple YouTube channel partnership. And I mean, I never saw my YouTube channel going that way. When I first started this YouTube channel, being the theme park evangelist that is, I just intended on this YouTube channel just being about theme parks. Now, over the years, I have, of course, kept the theme park name because I've always done at least 25 theme park YouTube videos a year, or vlogs, whatever you want to call them. But my YouTube channel has, like Brian Trahan's, if you guys know who Brian Trahan is, gone more that direction where I've become more of a travel vlogger. And I'm not the only theme park vlogger who's become more of a travel vlogger, but still have that YouTube, that theme park name. Justin Scard originally started out as a theme park vlogger, believe it or not. Him and his wife, Allie, if I'm not mistaken, if that's his wife, they now are both travel vloggers. The Tim Tracker is still a theme park vlogger, but he also likes to travel. Adam the Woo, if you guys know who he is, he started out as a theme park vlogger. He's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, more than Justin. But yet, what does he do now? Hardly any theme park vlogs. He does more travel these days. His YouTube channel is known as The Daily Woo. I mean, what do I like to do these days from what you guys have noticed? Well, I like to vlog at Kings Island. I still like to vlog at Disney and Universal and whatnot. And I also like to vlog at different Hiltons. Actually, my next one is going to be tomorrow. Now I'm speaking in future tense in the sense that I'm talking in the pre-recorded sense. Tomorrow being Tuesday, and I'm very excited to tell you guys I'm going to be staying on the top floor of Homewood Suites in Florence, Kentucky. I figured instead of spending another night at my parents', I would take advantage of the. On top of that, when I originally planned this trip, I should let you guys know I did not intend for both my car and Katie's car to have problems. My original plan was to stay at a Hilton in Florence, so that way I could literally just go straight from work to this Hilton and just enjoy the benefits of having my discount, used at this, luxurious Hilton, and go from there to Ontario, Canada, the very next morning. And originally, my plan was to pack up sometime, between Sunday and Tuesday for Ontario, Canada. But due to the car issue, I was forced to pack last night on Sunday night right after work. So another reason why I could not vlog last night either, because I had to literally go home just to pack. And that took like an hour, give or take. So frustrating times. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why I like to pre-record things, because when I'm looking ahead at my schedule, I just know there's no way on God's green earth I'm gonna have time. And since this is the very last vlog, I'm just gonna go ahead and straight up tell you guys, this week I'm going up to Canada, so you guys are gonna enjoy my vacation series starting Tuesday, and then Christmas season literally starts right up after this. 2 weeks from today, I'm going to be back doing at-home vlogs, and we'll be vlogging Christmas vlogs, so you guys will get more or less 5-6 days worth of Christmas vlogs up in Canada, and then I'm going to take a little break to just focus on my job, and then we'll come back again, not next Sunday, but the following Sunday. So, looking at the calendar here, that was not it. And of course I don't have my I'm just trying to think here. November 30th is the next Sunday after this, so I would assume it's Pearl Harbor Day, something like that. I'm guessing here. Would be the next. Oh no, hold on, I'm forgetting. November 24th is the next Sun. Was yesterday, so December the 1st, December the 8th. I will see you guys again for sure December the 8th. Even if I, for whatever reason, don't have a vlog that day because I'm working, not to worry. If I don't see you guys December 8th, I will see you guys December 9th. If for whatever reason I'm going to be really busy December 9th, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pre-record this December 9th vlog on December 8th. That's how I solve my problems right there. So, let's go ahead and get into this topic, which is basically going to be titled, Why Am I Choosing to Take Katie to Canada Now? And, why is this so important to me? So, obviously, I'm not going to go into why or what I'm going to be doing in Canada, because, that's a whole new ball game. But what I wanted to tell you guys about instead is why, after all this time, I've been with Katie 3 years. I've been engaged to her a year now, and I've been dating her, and then on top of that, I've just been together with her, period, 2.5 years. So why, after all this time, am I finally going to go ahead and just say, you know what, let's just take Katie to Canada, just so she can see it. Just give me un momento. That's good. Well, I know a lot of you don't believe in the power of prayer. I know a lot of you guys may not always understand my thinking, but I'm going to say it. I prayed a lot about this. And I did a lot of deep thinking about this. And I know my worldly friends may not agree necessarily about the whole idea of me and Katie getting married still. I understand that. My worldly friends may not even agree with the idea of Katie even being ready to meet my mom's side of the family. So, first of all, Katie and I are getting married on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025. Just straight up. And back earlier this year, I was, more or less curious when we were going to get together for Christmas again with my mom's side of the family, because it's something we normally do. And that was like several months ago. Well, earlier this year, I got my answer. And I heard that they were planning on getting together the week of Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I could make that work. So, originally at the time, I was working at the airport. And, I knew for sure that we were going to get together. I didn't know officially when. Earlier, it was around the time I was working at the airport when I finally did get those dates in. I didn't know who was going to be taking over for my last boss when she left, and I got nervous, and I shouldn't have been, because the new manager would have still kept those time off requests in. Easily. Like, he would have been like, oh yeah, that's not a problem at all. You deserve to go. You've been with the company 6 months. You need to go. But I didn't know what was going to happen, because around the time I left the airport was a really bad time. It wasn't just bad time for me. It was a bad time for the airport. And without going into too much info, let's just put it this way. I, decided that it was time for me to leave the airport. I was getting ready to move, and I didn't want to have to keep working at the airport, especially during the winter when I knew the roads were going to get icy. And, I didn't know what my Kia was capable of. And thankfully, just the one day it has been snowing here, I stayed very close to home, like meaning my parents' home. I didn't try to drive all the way back to Dry Ridge. There was no way. And I knew for sure that I was going to be able to afford this trip financially when I was at the airport. And, I had all this vacation time. I was like, okay, I got this. But mentally, I was getting burned out. I admit it. So, I started looking around for another job, and I actually came across on Indeed.com, or my Indeed app, whatever, one of the two, that there was a Hampton Inn in Williamstown, Kentucky that was looking for a front desk second shift. And I knew about this because a close friend of mine that I used to work with, or for, at the airport. So I applied for it, and then I got called in for an interview. And I told the lady, or the manager really, off the bat, hey, I'm actually getting ready to go to Canada here in the next 2 months. Is that going to be a problem? She said, absolutely not. I'm completely happy with that about that. And I said, that's the only time I'm going away. I'm really trying to avoid taking time off right now. And I should let you guys know, I haven't been out of town since February. I pretty much just been staying local pretty much every single day. And it's been exhausting. Like when my parents went out of the country back in the summer, I'm not saying where, I'm just going to say they went out of the country on a mission trip. And guess what? I stayed here and I worked at the airport. And it was hard because, I'm looking at their pictures and I'm like, oh, so unfair. But you know what? God kept me going. And I knew God was going to eventually reward me for my patience. And God's been testing me a lot this year, spiritually and mentally. But I also know God has a reason for everything he does. I don't know why he's been doing it, but I know he has a reason for it. And he's going to reveal it to me when he's ready to. So, I eventually got really close, and just literally before my birthday, I was getting nervous about this trip, like affording it or not, because I'm looking at money, and car issues hadn't even started yet, and I'm like, oh man, how am I going to afford this? But I also knew I had to go, and it was actually really coincidental that my cousin Michael reached out to me on my birthday. So, I'm stressed out because I was okay with the one hotel in Florence, but I knew it was extremely important for Katie to see her side or some of her relatives up in London, Ontario. I did not realize how close my cousin Michael lived to London, Ontario. I promise you guys that right now. He doesn't live in London. He just lives really close to it. And when I originally booked this hotel, which didn't cost me anything, I'm thinking about is I gotta find somewhere for Katie and I to stay nearby, and I want to make it nice. I want to do something nice for her, but for myself too would be kind of a bonus. And I got this Home2 Suites, if I remember correctly, and it was a suite, and it had a full kitchen in it, and it had a restaurant and free breakfast. I was like, wow, this is really nice. It was only $40 a night plus tax. So, after everything was said and done, I thought I had a good deal, but I'm still stressed out. Like, how am I going to afford this? But I also know I have to go because if Katie doesn't go now, then A, when's she ever going to see her Nana and Papa again, her Scottish relatives up there? And B, if she doesn't meet my mom's side of the family now, then when we do go to get married, it's going to be kind of insulting to my mom's side of the family that we're getting married and they haven't even met her yet. And I know I'm going to have to answer to it later, even if certain relatives don't necessarily agree. But the majority of them do believe that. So I'm praying hard, like, God, what do I do? So like I said, my cousin Michael reached out. And he asked me, after he wished me a happy birthday, about the trip. And he started asking me, where I was going to stay. And I sent him a screenshot of where I was going to stay. So then he says to me, you could stay with me. I charge a whole lot less. And I've talked about this before in another vlog, but I'm just going to go over it again. And what he meant was he wouldn't charge me at all. We're very close. We always have been. And I immediately sensed in him, I see what you're getting at, you sly fox. And I thought that was just the funniest thing. And I was just really impressed. And I was like, praise God, thank you. I needed that. And, I'm very excited about staying with him for a couple of days. And then, a week goes by, and I'm happy because of the fact that I'm going to be staying with him, and I'm like, okay, this could work. Okay, now I just got to figure out how to drive in Toronto, and then how to get from Wyville all the way back to my grandmother's place. I just figured I'll just stay with my aunt and uncle in Wyville an extra night, and go on from there. Where Wyville is very hard to explain, so I'm not going to tell you guys. So, once again, it's like, I have to go to this. I'm not used to driving in Toronto. I've never actually driven through it, but you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for Katie. I'm going to do this for the family, because it's important for both of them for this to happen. And I'll mention this right now. This has been one of the worst weeks I've had in a long time. Work injury, being out of work for almost a week, 6 days to be specific, and 2 cars going out of commission at the same exact time. My car, thank God, because of my future in-laws, was able to get repaired enough that we're able to drive it around again, but we still got to get the kinks worked out with the ongoing issue that is just going to keep happening and happening and happening until it's solved, over and done with for sure. And then as far as Katie's car situation, well, let's just say that we're finally getting it taken care of, and Lord willing, by tomorrow it should be done. Literally right before we leave. I know, it's crazy. But the important thing is Katie will have her car back before I return home a week later. So I can take her car home and she can keep my car again. And then I can have a car again back in Dry Ridge, and I can go back to living at home, and Katie can go back to just living in Erlanger, and we all live happily ever after. But yeah, it's one of those situations where I legitimately got so scared. I was under the impression I'd do something drastic, and I don't want to say what it was, because it has to do with money. And I'm gonna say it had nothing to do with my life. It had to do with money. But when you get into these really bad situations and you get so scared that you want to do something really stupid, but God intervenes and he's like, no, maybe later, but right now you're okay. I got you. And it was just a huge blessing that, God's been really coming through this week. I mean, despite all the bad things that have been going on, like, I feel like I've been living in the book of Job all week. I mean, that's just the best way to put it. And then, to make matters even crazier, so my cousin Michael reaches out to me. And this is another reason why, despite how many bad things have been going on, I'm still going on this trip. Because I have a good feeling that if God did not want me to go, then God wouldn't keep blessing me and blessing me and blessing me. If God did not want me to go on a trip, then he would just continue to let bad things happen without, any grace or mercy or anything to that nature. But guess what? God once again sent my cousin Michael to me, and my cousin Michael basically says to me, I was thinking, we're heading up to YVL too, and you're also heading up there, and we're probably all leaving around on the same time. Why don't we just all go in one car and I'll drive? And I was like, oh my word, thank you. Like, you, once again, I'm just like, and we're all gonna go up at the same time, and we're all gonna come back at the same time. And what's even crazier is the fact that I don't have to bring as much with me, obviously, to go to Yvale. I just need to bring like a small bag that's, good enough to get me through the weekend. And, but, as far as, what's going to go on after that is, we're going to go back to, his place together. And I already asked him, like, well, can I go ahead and spend another night with you and leave the next morning for Niagara Falls? And he goes, oh, yeah, that's not a problem at all. And I'm like, yes. So, I already looked it up, and he doesn't live anywhere close to Toronto. Like, we only have to go through Toronto to get to Yvale, but not to get to his place. Nor do we have to go through Toronto to go to Niagara Falls. I'm like, praise God. This has been such a huge answer to prayer. And this means that my car only has to drive up to the London area, then all the way out to the Niagara Falls, and then eventually I'm going to have to drive back down to northern Kentucky. So, yes, going up north, I will have to drive through Dayton, Toledo, and Detroit. And on the way back, I will have to drive through the drive through Buffalo, the outskirts of Cleveland, of course, Erie, and then Columbus, and then finally Cincinnati, which I'm used to because my parents don't live that far away from Cincinnati. But, at the end of the day, that's not that bad. And even then, on Wednesday, I'm not even going to go home right away because I got community group that night, so I can literally just hang out in the area until community group starts. And then eventually, after community group, then go home for the first time in who knows how long. Actually go sleep on my own bed again. Of course, I've got a crap ton of work to do when I get home as far as my room is concerned because I got all this laundry that I'm going to be putting away, and I got a bed to make. And, my roommate at that point will have not seen me in over 2 weeks just because of everything that's been going on. But you know what? God's going to get me through, just like he always does. But to answer everybody's final question, like, just in case you haven't figured it out by now, why now am I going to Canada? Why is it so important for me to introduce Katie to my mom's side of the family? Well, first of all, why now? Obviously, I'm not going to just make everybody wait until next year, despite my financial struggles, just to introduce Katie at the wedding. I don't work like that. I'll tell you guys that straight up. And secondly, as far as like why this is so important to me, like I prayed with Katie earlier. Earlier as in late Saturday night. And now I'm speaking as in while I'm filming. It's very important for me for Katie to meet the people that I grew up with my whole life. People that have known me since I was a baby, practically, and even since I was a child. So, and this is very exciting to me. Very exciting for me to introduce the woman I'm about to marry and spend the rest of my life with people that, I've known my whole life. So, anyway, I hear footsteps upstairs, so I just, wanted to share this all with you guys, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ strengthens you. Have a great night. Peace out. I'll see you guys tomorrow, being Tuesday, at Homewood Suites in Florence.